Well, good morning and hello, greenscapers. How y'all doing this morning? It's early in the morning here in Zone 6A in Ohio. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've never told you all about it. I am in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we're in Zone 6A and getting close to frost. October 16th is our frost day. I'm not sure what part of the world you're in, where you are, but you can always check your frost date at the Old Farmer's Almanac website. Just type in your zip code and it'll give you the frost date. Um, 2 weeks before frost date, you want to make sure you got something in the ground so it won't be affected by the frost. Anything that's cold weather hardy, you can still plant now and get it in the ground and get a harvest by the end of October, going into November. And some things will even go into the winter, early parts of the winter, to prepare you for the spring of next year. So don't give up. But sometimes you got to take a break. I understand. Gardening is an awesome hobby for those of us, and sometimes this is for some of you. I mean, it might be your first time gardening, and it can be somewhat frustrating if you don't see the results that you've been anticipating. You didn't put all this work in, you didn't planted the seeds, you didn't invested in soil amendments, and you invested in soil and mulch and seeds and everything else, and then when you go to look to see and wait after a few months or a month or so, you don't get the results that you were expecting, or the bugs have got to you, or disease has got to your plants. But I want you to know, don't let that be a hindrance or deterrent from you continuing your growing in the next growing season. I would say learn to do succession planting. In other words, plant for each season before time. That way, when that season comes, uh, you'll have a harvest, and you'll have plants and vegetables growing at all times. Um, don't give up on your gardening. I know it's not as easy um, as I make it seem, but it can be frustrating. It can, and sometimes it's good to just take a break. Some of you all may not be, into gardening like maybe like myself or others. Gardening has not just become a hobby of mine anymore. It actually become a way of life. We've invested in some things, and I just believe that um, when you doing a thing, put your all into it, give it your all, and you'll get the results that you desire after a while. It don't come overnight. You're gonna make some mistakes. Some things are not gonna grow. Some things are gonna bolt. Some things are just not gonna produce. But don't give up. Don't give up. Continue to fight. Continue to plant. Continue to grow. Continue to develop. Continue to germinate. Things will get better as time progresses. So don't throw in the towel. You might have to change how you plant. You may not be able to plant as much. Some of you all probably did too much and couldn't handle and didn't know the results of it. You didn't probably have the right proper seeds. Probably didn't have not seeds, but didn't have the right soil amendments. You didn't plant in the right type of soil. A lot of you all soils probably dry. Probably not don't have enough acidity in it or even lime, and if you don't add those amenities to it, um, it's not going to produce a lot of harvest. It may not produce at all. Some of you may have planted before the season of certain seeds, and they don't germinate good in the heat, while others do well in the heat. Some of them don't do well in the cold, while others do. So you got to do a little research or watch YouTube channels such as mine and others, and learn. And I do teach. I do have a class that Zoom class that I teach. If you want to know Gardening 101, I do that from seed to harvest. I could teach you all of the things you need to know about um, soil amendments and all those things. Which seeds to plant, what type of seeds, how to check the pH in your acidity in your soil, making sure you add certain things to it to cause it to have more, better chance to live. Now, I want you to know something, that in each seed is everything it needs to germinate and grow. You just got to make sure that you do your part and prepare it for growth. Just like anything in life. If you prepare it, it'll grow. Think about that. If you prepare it, it'll grow. So, I'm in the greenhouse. As you can see, some people call these low tunnels. This is not a high tunnel. This is a smaller greenhouse, but it's a pretty nice size. I've got a bunch of things on the table, and I'm growing some things over there on the side. So I'm just trying to clean up a little bit and do a little watering and inspection. See, some of the things are starting to come up. I just planted Monday. I planted a bunch of stuff in the ground. I got all type of bok choy, arugula, cabbage, turnips, mustards. Let's see what else. Broccoli, pole beans. So all of those things that I just named, you can plant those for fall, and those will give you a harvest in about 55 days. Some of them should be even before that. Turnips normally do a little sooner, 30, 35 days. You should have some turnips. And then I'll give you a brief look at everything. So hang on for a minute.